Everything I spit rare, we sounded that great. Area podcast, they talk about hip hop all the way in the UK, so they gon' get props. Ooh, let me catch it once again.
This is a new series for us, isn't it? We've never done
Yeah. We've got a few. Got Wale.
We should probably clarify though. This is no diss to anyone. We're not saying anyone fell off or anything like that. We're talking about artists that we're either fans of or that we respect, and that I guess their careers have just gone down a path that we perhaps didn't expect in the beginning. Is that an accurate way of?
Yeah, I feel like it's artists we would have wanted to do like discog discussions for, but for some reason they haven't made that discography for a certain reason.
Yeah, people that had strong starts and were going places and have either just kind of just fallen away from where they were kind of gonna reach, or got lost in the shuffle, or altogether have just stopped rapping. And in this case, apparently, Noname is dropping a new album sometime soon or some shit. So I don't know.
That's unconfirmed. No, let's not even go off.
I wouldn't even say it. Yeah, because we don't.
We'll get to that at the end. We'll get to that one. That's recent news. So just for like people to be aware, we're recording this at the beginning of March 2022. So if this comes out in a few months and there's music, we're fucked. But anyway, so what was our introduction to Noname?
Well, it says if telephone, hold fire to the next sections. I have to hold fire to the next section.
Because mine wasn't telephone.
Yeah. Mine wasn't telephone. Mine was Room 25.
Sean, I swear I played you telephone, man.
No. I mean, I heard Noname before telephone.
Oh, on other people's stuff.
Oh, did you?
Other people's stuff.
I didn't. I'm being real. You introduced me into Noname. I started off with Room 25 first, and then dipped in. Then went.
You dipped in.
Obviously, went to and then went to telephone because I was checking out what she was doing at the time. Yeah, caught up. I was slow with.
I think I heard on some Shmino stuff or the other one. I forgot the other guy. Saba. One of them two's work.
Oh, she was on Mick Jenkins, which caught my eye. When obviously Sean let me know about Noname, and then I was listening to obviously Water by Mick Jenkins. She was on that. She was on Comfortable, and I was like, yeah, definitely need to check her out.
Well, Kieran, when was yours? Just before I go through mine.
Mine's ridiculous. Like I only ever knew Song 32, and I love that song, obviously. But then, like, I don't know why I just never bothered checking anything else, especially because Song 32 is actually better than all of the stuff she released before it. Let's be real about that. So whenever I went to those things...
No. I don't know if I can,
really?
I don't know if I can concur with that. I'm being serious.
No. What about every song on telephone, though?
Song 32 is dope, but I can't. No, I can't.
Telephone to me is a very strong project.
That was my opinion, and it kind of still is, but only like last week I've been listening to her projects and enjoying them. I never listened to them before that.
Fair enough. So my intro was her feature on Acid Rap. She was on Chance's Acid Rap.
Really?
Yeah. She's on Lost. She's on the song Lost. Yeah.
So we would have all heard her years ago then, technically.
I didn't. I'll be honest. I mean, a lot of people say that that's a great feature. I don't remember it like blowing me away at the time. And I also was listening to Mick Jenkins around the time he dropped The Waters too. So I heard her on that. And again, I wasn't blown away. But I was aware of her because that, like, around that time, sort of 2012 to 2014, I guess, the big thing in Chicago was drill music, right?
Yeah.
You had like Chief Keef, King Louis, a whole host of names. Young Chop was like one of the top producers at the time. You had like Kanye and Good Music doing the Don't Like remix. That was the Chicago sound at that point. But there was this sort of small pocket of alternative artists like Chance, who I guess was the kind of spearhead of that. But you had Mick Jenkins, Saba, Noname, Vic Mensa. There was a load of others. So I knew she was like, I knew she was about. But the song for me, pre-telephone, I don't know if any of you have heard it. It might be interesting to hear what you all think of it, actually, to listen to, is a song called Israel. And it was a collab between her and Chance. And it's this song where they're kind of going back and forth. I think this song's called Israel and in brackets Sparring. And it's almost like they're kind of sparring, I guess, like rap sparring throughout the song. That was the first time I went, oh, like she's special. Like, or she
Look
could
it up,
be special.
Sam. Let's hear this.
Yeah, I've not heard that.
You've not heard this one? No? It's definitely on SoundCloud. Definitely on SoundCloud.
Oh, it's not an official like.
It won't be on Spotify now.
Oh, okay. Israel, Noname, Sparring. I can't believe she was on Acid Rap. That's the part that got me.
Mm.
Sparring is training, chain snatching the slaves. But a rap song is a match in a cave. Dim lit, wet wick, wicked wrapped in its way. Drunk off a light, lies laughing, claiming asylum while shying in shade. I can't stay silent, I go violent when my violets is gray and my roses is black. Fuck the pharaohs and the Pharisees, Moses is back. I don't need to see a sphinx to know they noses was black. I don't know one temptation that had Otis's back. Sparring is training, it's a jumping jack. I'm the scariest jack in the pumpkin patch. Float like my jumper wet, sting like a bumblebee. I swing like a lumberjack, go back when I'm up at bat. They tried to label me a non-rapper. I'm an independent contractor, car cracker. Sparring is training without the training wheels. You made it, you made it, you made it, yeah, you made a deal. You played it straight, hated, graduated, waited, you still a waiter still. Mice will always find out ways to steal. Picture me, fifth of Hennessy and a swish of sweet. Fake identity till a plug named Trinity shook me. Wake up, like remember me. Said 1 + 1 make 3 and you finna see. You ain't as grown as you finna be. You got them young nigga tendencies.
Sentimental energy, I let the lights in. Beside him, I stand like angel. Sparring is training for an apathetic halo. Apologetic, non-religious, consequential fable. Like good is good, the loving me is goodly or godly. But Bible say mistakes is necessary, so I Mississippi monologue to granny house. My soloist is sold out to attentive God. Cornbread on my table when I say my prayers. On airs to stairs with shadiness, it's time to rest or manifest. Sparring is training, I know they think me bumblebee. Afro-Americano, Sunny D, but bet I sting, no die.
Sparring is training, Jacob wrestled with God in the desert till he broke him and he blessed him and he rescued his heart. I struggle with love, I juggle my loves, I cuddle and coddle, shipwreck and bottle, I huddle in hugs. Sparring is training, brah. Ramsey's watching Rain and Frogs, Jigga watching Damon watching Wayans, bruh's a tandem unicycle with 2 pilots and different maps.
You giving back?
I'm giving back.
Tit for tat, synagogue and bottle caps, a body in the underpass says, where's my Jesus? Pledge allegiance to the money now, we running down the kitty parts where darker kids be casualty like come with me to the museum. Excuse them, they know of what they do.
Sparring is training, don't let Denzel training day you, since they could catch a fade too. We be on that elegant, hella melanin, belly since the crayons and jelly beans. And now you know Noname ain't never for none.
Hey yo, you know Chano ain't never for none.
And now you know Noname ain't never for none.
Hey yo, you know Chano ain't never for none.
And you don't stop.
Hey,
boom bap, and you don't stop. I told you that was gonna be fun though.
I've never heard that, and that song sounds really good.
It was incredible.
That was really good. I really like that.
Yeah, so that was the first time where I was like, okay, yeah, I want to follow this person. But she didn't have a project at this point. This was
Why is that not on Spotify as well?
Yeah,
Probably couldn't get the sample cleared, something like that. Who
Yes,
knows?
the sample, yeah. But that was a real good time for, like I said, that sort of pocket of Chicago rap during the sort of mid 2010s and that.
Especially because Chief Keef was like making that whole youth pop off.
So this was very different. But like I said, there was no project. So there was nothing to, you search the name Noname and it's like, there's nothing there basically to listen to. But then Telephone comes along. I don't remember listening to Telephone when it came out though. And I feel like, Sam, you maybe either sent me Diddy Bop or like you told me about the project and I was like, oh, I know Noname. And then that's when I got to it. And I reckon that was like late 2016. I think it missed me a little bit for a few months.
So I distinctly remember hearing this either the day or the day after it came out because I was heavy on SoundCloud back then. And that's where like SoundCloud had the best kind of algorithm for suggesting music. And this wasn't on Spotify yet, I think. So I used to listen to a lot of stuff on SoundCloud. And I was like, oh, this project's bumping. And I was listening to it the whole summer because it was feeling great, some of the songs. And I feel like actually you got in the car once and I was playing it. And you were like, what is this? And I was like, it's Noname. And you were like, oh, okay. I think I've heard that name before. And then you forgot about it. That after that day, I don't remember like why I didn't send it to you. But then I sent you like Diddy Bop, like you said, or some track like that, and you were like, "Oh, I'm gonna go listen to this now." And you came back, he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm really liking this. I'm liking the vibes." And that would have been probably like late summertime, so probably September. So I'd listen to this project like near enough every day for like, I want to say like over a month, nearly 2 months, and I just really, really enjoyed it. Like I hadn't heard anything like this, and I hate to be segregating people into like female rapper and male rapper, but I've never heard anything like this from like realistically anybody at the time. So I was a bit like, this is really nice, it's interesting, and I was like, this is like high level rap, which was kind of missing at that time. It was a lot of just, I don't know what was going on in 2016, but I just really don't remember there being that much good music coming out.
Oh, really? See, I'm about to. I made a list, right?
Yeah,
because when I was preparing for this, I thought, why did I miss this? Because, like I said, that song Israel and the odd feature here and there, I liked Noname, but it just missed me. But just to kind
Drake
of jog
came out
around
that year,
right?
and Kanye dropped an album, but that was at the beginning of the year.
But this is what I mean though. Like, so I've got here Malibu, so Anderson .Paak Malibu, right?
Oh yeah, I was all
Pablo
over that.
came
Sorry.
out. Kano's Made in the Manor, Views, Kenichiwa, Coloring Book when Chance was like on top of the world, Blank Face, right? That was all pre-Telephone, yeah. And then after that, you had Jeffrey, you had The Sun's Tirade, The Divine Feminine, Atrocity Exhibition, We Got It From Here, you know, Tribe's album, Awaken My Love, Run the Jewels Free. So it doesn't surprise me that
Childish
I kind of
Gambino.
Yeah, and also like in terms of the sound as well, though, like you said, Sam, about it fitting with the summer. And I know this is a very cliche thing to say, but this, among all that music there, all those sounds, Telephone was like a breath of fresh air. It just had this lightness to it. Do you get what I mean? This sort of if I was someone that sort of saw music in colors, I'd say it was like this kind of light palette pink, or like the album cover. Basically, it just had a different, like almost like a fluffy feel.
It's one of those rap projects you can play, because that's Sean's analogy. Is like, I feel like you could play this at a barbecue, summer songs on this, and people won't go turn that rap shit off because it's musical, it's nice. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, she's not saying too much like wild shit. She's not saying like, I'm gonna fuck your bitch and you can suck my whatever.
I just thought of another album that you might have missed it as well, though, Sean. Because didn't Blonde come out as well?
Yes,
probably.
Shit.
Yeah. Blonde came out in
2016.
That's probably why. Yeah, that's why. You might have gone under the radar.
My life as well when that came out.
I feel like this project occupied a good space for me for a good month or two, but I really don't remember all these albums dropping, because I feel like all the big projects Sean named happened at the start and the end of the year.
Wasn't Solange that year as well? I see at the table.
Solange was. Yeah, it was.
2016 was.
It was.
It's crazy.
Because I was banging that album out. I'll tell you that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That's why I missed Noname, though. Think about how many things there were.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually haven't listened to her since the past week.
Because she's also not, she is one of the least, because something that often gets associated with rappers is this kind of braggadocio nature, you know, hear me, I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. There is nothing like that in Noname, especially at this point in her career. And even the way she raps, like her style is very spoken wordish, and she does come from a poetry background, apparently. Like that was,
it's understated, I think. Like it's not even to grab your attention, really.
No.
Other than the fact that you kind of have to listen to hear what she's saying.
Yeah, and she's saying a lot as well.
She's almost like Lauryn Hill. Like we all said that in the but I think everyone was thinking it. Kieran said it as well. Like she sounds like Lauryn Hill, and it's like
she's less aggressive though. But like, there's moments.
Even Lauryn
there
Hill
is moments though of I'm listening to the J. Cole diss track. It's so aggressive.
Yeah, that's mad.
Well, she's changed a bit over time, but like even Lauryn Hill in her early days, she was very much like, I'm the best MC. There was this almost like cypher nature to it. Like if she was on a track with anyone, whether it be with the Fugees or whatever, it was like, I'm here to take over. Whereas even if, like when you listen to that Israel song, I know the point of it is, I think there's that play on religious text and the whole sparring thing, but it's very like complimentary rather than I'm going to try and eat you up on the track. You know I mean? Exactly. But interestingly though, and this might come into play when we talk about where she's come to, what's kind of transpired in her career in recent times, is her name used to be Noname Gypsy. So when if you look at the on Acid Rap, like if you go on that Piff, the feature will probably say Noname Gypsy. and she chose that name as a teenager when she was transitioning from poetry to music. And I'm probably not quoting her word for word, but she said something like, gypsies were very nomadic, just not about staying in one place for a long time. And I've written here, like, was that a sign of things to come? Like, you know, she's not been in music very long. And then just recently, she's basically implied that she's never doing it again. So although she ditched the name, because I think there was some, like, to do with political correctness, basically, she didn't want to offend anyone and their sort of, their heritage and whatnot. But if that's her kind of nature, then maybe it makes sense that she's not, that she, you know, she said she was not going to do music again. I know we're kind of jumping ahead here. Do you get what I mean, though?
Makes sense.
Yeah. What else was I going to say on that point? But yeah, she ditched the name, I think, just before Telephone, basically, just before the project came out. But yeah,
that was a good move, because she could have got cancelled if it was too late.
Oh, 100%.
I don't think people were getting cancelled like that back in 2016. I feel like
they weren't, but she'll be getting cancelled now, though. She'll be getting cancelled with that name.
She
now.
left it like a couple years. Yeah.
It's funny that, isn't it? Nearly 6 years ago, people weren't really getting cancelled like that, and people were saying some outlandish shit 6 years ago.
Oh, 100%. Oh, you can't say anything now. But yeah.
Well, some people can. Shout out Fat Joe. He says what he likes, man. You can't.
And he's still breathing.
He's still breathing. Fuck around, catch that. What?
Yeah. Conversation for another day. But
I had to keep my
thing, you know.
I feel like we cancelled a few people. We cancelled a few people based off some things they've done. I feel like I was listening to an album the other day. It might even have been what's his name, Conway's album, and I heard T.I. and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's cancelled straight up. Trust me, that's the only song I didn't tick on that album.
I was like, I don't know if I should be listening to T.I. right now.
T.I. is cancelled.
I know what you mean, like on a personal
Kiddie
one.
Fiddler.
That he's not
Make sure you check your daughter's hymen. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? You're mad.
Oh god! At least you came out with that. I'm still trying to keep my mouth shut about this Fat Joe diss I had.
You got to say it now. We'll just edit all this out.
No, that's what you're saying.
Oh no, just because I was gonna refer to, like, when you're saying, you're talking about breathing through his nose. It was like, can he, with that weight he's packing, like big pun?
Jesus, man.
But he's skinny now. I
was trying to make someone say that, innit? But no one did.
Nah, do you know what's mad though? Let's be honest, yeah.
His beard.
You can get cancelled for things that are so random and bizarre, yeah. But certain things that are just completely wrong, people don't get cancelled for. You could be straight up racist like Fat Joe and no one cares. But like if you offend certain groups of people, you're finished. Absolutely finished. Like if we go by the rhetoric that we're going by, yeah, J. Cole should be cancelled for coming for Noname for no reason. But he's not. Do you know what I mean? He's calm.
Oh
anyway,
shit!
Back to the conversation.
Yeah.
No,
we can talk about cancel
that
culture another time.
That could be a whole new episode.
That beard comment, man.
How do we cancel?
That beard was
embarrassing. It does look drawn on, though. I'm not going to lie.
That beard was embarrassing.
Talk about Fat Joe's beard.
Yeah,
I like that beard, man. It's looking, it's looking sharp.
Yeah. Too sharp.
Too sharp.
Yeah, too sharp. Yeah, it's got to be a little bit like.
It looks like Photoshop. He looks like he sold drugs like an hour ago. Do you know what I mean? Like he went from having a goatee his whole life, and all of a sudden he's got a full blown DJ Khaled thing. I don't know how that one transpired.
That's too funny.
But respect to him anyway.
Fat Joe looks like a grown up baby.
That looks expensive to maintain, though. I'm gonna lie, like that's so clean.
Some celebrities get their hair cut every day, right? You know. I used to know a guy who cuts celebrities' hair. He's like, when Trey Songz is in the country, I have to cut his hair every day. I'm like, are you even doing anything at that point? Because your hair doesn't grow that quickly. You just go like,
yeah, some good marker pen work.
Sharpie.
Telephone.
Edit the fuck out.
What do we think of that project?
Loved it.
What do we think of that project? Yeah,
amazing project.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
If I had to rate that project now, like classic. Retrospectively, and how well it's held up, it's like a 9 for me.
Trust me, I was about to say that too. It's such good quality music.
It's fair. What about conceptually though?
I didn't know about the concept till the other day when you mentioned.
Nor did I, because I've not
researched
it. Yeah, I've not.
Tell us about the concept, Sean, so the listeners can understand what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know it in depth because it's not something that I've ever properly deeped myself. I've read it before and then I kind of get it now. I think each song is based on a phone conversation that she's had. So I guess when you listen to it with that context, it slightly changes things and like the dynamic of the.
It is difficult
the
to apply that concept and listen to it though, because it's like that's such a vague concept to actually have. I think what it does is it makes the songs just as interesting as possible, doesn't it? Every song has its own topic, and some of them link somewhere thematically, but they are really just like their own pieces, each one.
There's no skits on them either. Like that's
There's
the
an
part.
interlude though. Oh, skits. Yeah.
There's no skits, so there's nothing to kind of link to that theme. Like I took the title for what it was.
Maybe she should have added like a little bit of recording in, because that's the thing people do these days as well, the phone calls, skits and stuff.
But I'm looking at the project, right? And I feel like all the songs on there stand on their own. Like they're really good. I don't know about the sequencing so much of the project because I've never thought of it in that regard till now. Like, you know, really picked it apart. But it's a strong first project. And for me, there's songs on there that I'll play. Excuse the pun, but forever. Like that song "Forever." I don't know why I love that song so much. The beat is mad.
Chops. Yeah, that's more relevant now than it was back then, I think.
Yeah.
I've got a quote here about the title and about the concepts. She says, "I named it Telephone because I like the idea of what it means to be on the phone with someone for the very first time and all its little intricate idiosyncrasies." I hope I've said that word correctly. From the awkwardness to the laughter or various intimate conversations you can have over the phone, I want my project to be very conversational. I want people to feel like they're on the phone with me, getting to know me better than a text message or a tweet. That makes total sense to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Why the F instead of PH though? Do you think it's just make it like I'm giving an accessible message? Like it's easy to read F rather than PH.
Well, she talks about the sort of innocence of it, and especially when she talks about the difference between that and the next album. So maybe it was like a childlike thing, you know?
Because it's phonetic, isn't it? Doing it with an F instead.
Yeah. But no, it's a great, like you say, it's a really great debut. I think really, and I think she kind of doesn't do herself justice. I get what she means about like how the next album there was this like level of maturity that wasn't there with this one, but I actually think this is a very mature album. Like she's talking about some very there's a lot of depth in there, and then also with the production as well. I think that you don't hear there wasn't many rappers rapping over stuff like that at that point. It's almost like a type of neo soul, I guess.
Yeah, and no beat misses as well. Every single one is
every beat hits big time.
That's one of the things I said. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but she did say one reason why she hates music at the moment is because she can't find producers anymore to make the sound she wants.
Wow.
That's fair enough, though.
Yeah.
Because the sound of that album was very unique. Like, I hadn't heard beats or, sounds like that. And I really probably haven't since. Like, maybe here and there, but not in a whole project.
But I think I get her. I think it's PG in terms of just like on a basic level. Like in terms of the sonics of it, like it does sound childlike. Like some of the instrumentals are almost like Disney-like in a sense. So it's just this, I don't know, there's this like nice air about it. But when you listen to a song like Casket Pretty, that's deep, man. What she's saying basically in that song.
Really deep.
When you really break it down. But then you've got songs like Diddy Bop, which is just that song will never get old. Diddy Bop's just got that nice feel. It's like that's a song I like to play when in like first day of summer. Like there's that first day where you go, it's sunny out and it's hot.
Yeah.
Diddy Bop.
It's a
that
good
and
song.
Commons B album gets played every summer.
Oh, Commons B. That album's
This is the thing though. This album has a very like Chicago feel to it as well. Don't you think?
Chicago music is strange because really people think of Chicago and they think of drill, but if you think of what the first first famous rapper from Chicago is, it's Kanye West, really, right? Yeah. Like big famous.
Common, really.
Well,
Common.
Common
Really.
never really reached
Kanye
Kanye West levels of fame, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I know what you mean with that.
Superstar, basically.
Yeah. But it's like it's a different sound
as well.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a different sound. It's a wacky sound. It's its own thing in its own right, but it's not like Atlanta, type sounds. You can be the 808s to this, that. It's just like people making really artistically creative music.
Yeah, that's what Chicago is.
She also had a couple of really good features around that time as well. There was the one on Saba's Bucket List Project mixtape, and then the feature on Chance's Colouring Book. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
I don't remember.
It's
Chance.
like a song in
Beautiful.
itself, isn't it? It's like an interlude at the end.
Yeah,
Song.
so good.
I remember Saba.
And maybe again she went a bit under the radar with that because there were so many features on that project. Like I think it's kind of, I had to remind myself of this the other day that Chance was like flipping the golden boy at that point,
wasn't it? Yeah, yeah. Because Kanye put him on like that as well.
Yeah, and it was. I remember saying to Sam at that point, and I was wrong, but at the time I was like, Sam, I think this guy's going to be the biggest in the game in like 3 years because he had no beefs. There was like literally no one he had any problems with. And I thought that would serve him well.
That wasn't a bad guess to make at that point, though, because like given all the facts we had, you know, this was his second project coming in. He was doing good. He's working with Kanye. You know, it was looking like a success formula. The reason why he failed is, funny enough, probably because of Kanye. Kanye didn't let him.
Maybe
Kanye did a Drake on him and just sucked all his talent out of him and ditched him.
Yeah, and that album.
Yeah, man, that was cheese.
The album wasn't great, was it? The debut. Like proper, you know, studio album or whatever.
I don't remember. I really.
I think 2016. You could make a case that he had feature of the year as well on Ultra Light Beam. That feature is amazing.
Yeah, but he also said of that it's going to haunt him forever. I've met Kanye West. I'm never going to fail. It's like you. Failed.
Oh no!
Oh god! Oh no!
No, I respect that.
At the time, it might have meant something, but now you look back, it's like, well, Chance. You know, let's be honest.
You could tell Kanye was whispering a line when he was writing that verse.
He hasn't failed though, has he? He hasn't failed, I guess.
Well, he's not doing much, is he?
I'd be proud of him if I'd achieved.
He's not made it. Yeah.
It's not been that long though. Like I know.
Well, is the last album was 2019, isn't it? They just had a look.
Like, yeah, that wasn't really like the Colouring Book as well.
No. By the way, Sam, that song you picked for our playlist, which if people hop on the Discord, we can share the playlist with you. And
Discord time
on the Discord, people.
That song that you shared has made me want to go back to that album because I don't remember liking anything off that album really. But that song was good, so maybe I need to go back.
Yeah, but that was a risky pick because I was like, what rappers have green artwork? And I was racking my brain for about 20 minutes. I was like, I swear Chance the Rapper has one. I was like, let me go look. I was like, is this classed as green?
Yeah.
Then I was like, what's my favorite song? So that's literally the process I went on. I didn't even listen to the rest of the album. I literally went and looked at the light songs, and that was it.
No, that was a good pick. Good pick, that one. Okay, so was there anything else from that period that stood out for anyone, or do you reckon we've covered that?
Do you know what it was about Noname? Yeah, and I'm being 100% honest. That project came out, and then I thought she just disappeared. I didn't know she was doing all these features, and then retroactively, when I went back and listened to people like Saba and all that, and Smino, I was like, oh, do they work together on a regular basis? I don't know, but basically, I was not paying attention to her at all. Like, so she kind of was the main event for me, and then just I stopped caring. I don't know if life.
I've got a question though. Why did the contemporaries get it wrong, like the critics? Because those ratings, they're good ratings, aren't they? But I feel like is it because she's a woman? Do you know what I mean? Because if a guy made this project, then the rapping like this with this kind of vulnerability and like technical level.
What scores are you looking at? Like which ratings?
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page for Telephone and like looking at just the collection of ratings they got.
Well, Pitchfork rated it an 8, which is basically a 10 for Pitchfork.
Yeah, that's big for Pitchfork. Yeah, it's good for Pitchfork.
Don't you think this should have got like 4.5 stars, like minimum though?
Well, it should.
And people throw out 5 stars for anything as well.
Yeah.
So
the Guardian, where Sean works,
84 on Metacritic. Is it 84?
That's mad.
It's 84.
That's a high number.
But I do feel like it could actually be higher though.
Don't get me wrong. I think now if people were to go, do a retrospective review, it would maybe fall in the sort of, more towards the 9. But I'm not too mad at that. I'm not too mad because I think sort of
I would be mad if I was her though. No, if I was Noname and I got those reviews, feeling like I dropped like a perfect project, essentially, I'd be a bit.
Yeah, but most people drop projects and feel like they've dropped a perfect project. It's not a matter of fact. It's just every artist drops what they feel like is their best work, and it's like obviously sometimes we agree, other times we don't.
I'm talking from an objective kind of level, like this is actually good though. Do you know what I mean? Like this is actually like so flawlessly structured and crafted.
Yeah, no,
You know what
good.
it is though? This is one of those ones, and Theo might back me in this because I know that you feel similar to me about Room 25, but it's one of those ones where when you hear it when it first comes out, so I'm talking about Telephone, and you listen to it and you go, I can't, there's no flaws. I can't knock this in any way. And then you hear the next one and you go, oh, right. I didn't know they could reach this level. And I know, Kieran, you're like perhaps not there with that album.
I'm not there yet.
That's how I felt. Was like now when I go back, as much as I love Telephone, if I listen to Room 25 straight after, I see the progression.
Yeah, see, that's why I've always said that Room 25 is better, because that's exactly how I see it. I love Telephone, but if I had to pick between the two, I don't know. There's progression on Room 25 where I'm just like, this is just great. I love Room 25. I really do.
Blaxploitation. That kind of song wouldn't have ever been on Telephone. What she does on that is crazy.
Yeah. It's just I know there's the obvious difference, which we'll speak about in a minute, but I think from I'm trying to think the right word. Let's say production, like the Telephone sounded quite, I don't want to use the word samey because it's not, but had this sort of one tone to me.
Yeah, it's not expansive with its production compared to Telephone.
Whereas Room 25 was, but it wasn't jarring. Like it was still cohesive and it all fitted in together. But to go for, like you mentioned, Blaxploitation, one of my favorite songs on there is the one which talks about D'Angelo. It always got
Window, or is it
Window's amazing?
Window, isn't it? What?
Window's so good.
Which one?
Look it up.
Well, it's not Montego Bay, is it?
No, but I was.
Yeah, is that? Oh wait, no.
Because I love.
Don't forget about me. It's don't forget
about me. Incredible. Yeah. But then to go to something like
Montego ironic Bay, that you forgot about the title.
I know. Yeah, that's mad, isn't it? And then Montego Bay with that incredible hook, and just I've never heard a song like that since. Like it's just so different.
That's just such a nice song.
And I said on the chat, like the first track, Self, and the final track, Noname. Like Noname is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, if she stopped, if she actually stopped, and that was her final track, you go, that's kind of perfect.
That's an underlooked song, you know. The streams of that should be much higher.
Yeah.
I was trying to find the best songs, like the popular ones. I was like, why is this one not noticed? Because it's epic, isn't it? The way that instrument comes in at the start.
Mm-hmm. And I have to give credit to the producer, Felix. I think that's how you pronounce the name. They really crafted some incredible soundscape with this. Again, the variety of sounds and that. But I guess the big difference, and just to quickly go back to what you said, Sam, about not hearing much from her, but she did features. I think a lot of the significant features came before Telephone, and then since Telephone, there wasn't a great deal. She really did kind of dip out. She did a few things, but nothing notable. And then to come back with this again, it wasn't as, I guess, conceptual. Maybe it is actually. Maybe it's just more complex, and I've not got it yet. Like, what does Room 25 mean? What is?
Yeah, that? I still don't understand complex, that. That's why I don't understand it.
It could be one of those personal type things where she used to have a class in a room called Room 25 or some shit. I really don't know, and I really didn't care. But it's like it's such a quality project. You have to kind of just be like, well, wherever Room 25 is, I'm in it now, type thing.
The thing is that the artwork's quite an array of things as well. So it's not just like one concept, this album, is it? It's like a collection of, like, I think you told me, Sean, it was like the collection of her 2 years since, basically.
Yeah. So again, I've just it's not even that hard to look it up. Bad research from me, this. But basically, Room 25 alluded to her lifestyle whilst in LA and living out of different hotel rooms. So again, it's just that little piece of information makes sense.
Was she 25 at the time, probably, as well?
Maybe. When was she born? She's
30 now.
I'm seeing here.
Conspiracy.
5 years ago.
Yeah, it's 5 years ago.
She could have been 25. She could have been 25 because she would have been 25. This in between. So, But I guess the big thing, because I remember she did an interview with Julie Adenuga on Apple.
Really?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, and I think you can still watch it out there. And the thing she was talking about was how she lost her virginity in the process of the last album and this one. And there's a lot of sex talk.
That's very odd.
Oh yeah, no.
But she said
that's what I was thinking. There is a lot of sex talk on
literally,
this album.
I'm paraphrasing, but in her, basically in her words, she said the big difference is I've had sex now, like between this album and the last one.
Yeah,
and you can hear it. I guess you can, and I know.
Does that where the maturity is? That where the maturity almost comes from? Because like telephone sounds like well innocent, and her saying a comment
Mad
like
innocent.
that is mad, isn't it? Because then it goes into Room 25. That's a bit. That's quite eye opening, to be honest with you.
But there's some funny lines as well about the sex lines, and it's hilarious, man. When she talks about her pussy teaching 9th grade English, stuff like that. It's like, what are you talking? And about colonialism and things like that. But she was interweaving these sort of sexual references with really deep, commentary on socio-economic matters and things. Do you know what I mean? Or socio-political, sorry, and
that's one thing I want to say.
Like that.
She's a really intelligent person, and it comes through in her raps. Like she's like Jay Electronica levels of intelligent. Like she says some stuff that you have to go research and be like, "What the fuck is she talking about?"
I think she makes that reference once as well. Like, I'm sure there's a song somewhere she says something about Jay Electronica.
She's smart, but that's a whole nother episode we could do. What happened to Jay Electronica?
Yeah, that'll be a whole week. That'll be we'll
have to live stream that. But to be honest, I would say she's one of those people that's never dropped a bad verse or a bad project. So it's confusing to me why she doesn't have the quote unquote critical acclaim or like some big label picking her up or the coach. She's never really had a massive co-sign per se. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's her own choice.
Acclaim. The critics love her though. Like this album was 9.3 on Metacritic, highest rated album that year, like a hip hop album or something.
But she's accessible. I think that's probably what it is as well. She's accessible. She's not got like this big persona or character that's like hard to kind of relate to. She's just a person rapping about life. She's not like talking about busting guns and all kind of magic.
I do think Telephone is more accessible than Room 25 though.
Yeah.
Room 25 is more rap than music, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's more.
But it's also more eclectic as well. It's also more. I think it's more artsy too. Like the production, especially, it's like it's a bit more off kilter. Like where I said that, like if Telephone has got these sort of light colors and it's got this sort of nice fluffy feel. If I think of Room 25, it's murkier. Do you know what I mean?
It's murky,
a bit more.
It's like it's the opposite of what the cover actually looks like.
It's off kilter. Oh, and a little thing about the cover. Apparently, I won't say the name because I think the person, it turned out to be not guilty, but the person who designed the cover got accused or charged with sexual assault or something like that. And Noname commented on it. And I think they even changed the cover. But since then, he got found not guilty. And that's why the covers remained. But there was a bit of controversy around that as well with that cover. But, yeah, just a little bit of info there. I think one thing to talk about as well is just as a positive thing to share is I knew about it sort of 2019 time onwards is she's got a book club, and I know she takes that very seriously. She's also very vocal online. I don't know whether she would consider herself an activist, but this book club that she has, I think, has taken quite a lot of her time and has taken precedence for her over the music. Does anyone excuse the pun, read much into it, or do they know about this at all?
I just know she has so much interest outside of music that if you look at it, you go, okay, it makes sense why she's not making music. Like some rappers, literally all they do is rap and smoke weed and go out to the club. Like she has like an actual kind of...
She actually has a life.
Yeah. An interesting life too. Like she's doing some shit that's moving culture and changing.
She's helping other people. Yeah.
Well, it says here, like I've found the website for it, and it says Noname Book Club is a black-led worker cooperative connecting community. Black-led cooperative connecting community members both inside and outside carceral facilities with radical books. Each month we uplift 2 books written by Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. We believe building community through political education is crucial for our liberation. It then goes on to talk about how they've refocused their efforts and they're expanding their prison chapters, and they send hundreds of books to incarcerated people. So it's pretty incredible stuff, I guess.
That's a great life mission to have,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And back to Sam, what you were saying about her, why she hasn't blown up, I think maybe one of the main reasons is, and if we jump ahead a bit and think about a song like Rainforest, I think content-wise, she doesn't, it's not mainstream content at all. In fact, it's actually it conflicts with major corporations and major labels and things like that. She doesn't speak very fondly of of the establishments of the world. Do you get what I mean?
Can I just add this
So I
in
think-
quickly? You can get back to your point. She's got a Patreon here with 11,000 people on it now. Assuming all of them are paying, $1 or maybe even $5, she's making the best part of about 20 grand a month off this book club.
Yeah,
so why the fuck would you go rap when you're making?
No, exactly. You don't
Obviously,
need
she's
to
got
waste
expensive
time
income.
doing that. Exactly.
That's
yeah.
a full-time income there. She's making 6 figures off
Yeah.
this book club, realistically, if we're being honest.
But in fairness, I
What's the
reckon,
point?
I reckon a lot of that money is going back out into the community.
Charities.
Yeah, but she's still
Yeah, but it
taking.
will be because she's
still taking a
securing
little bit
lot of
out of
money.
it.
She'll be exactly.
It's
Yeah.
not- I think what I'm saying is this is a viable business. Rapping is not a business. Rapping is the fucking Wild West. But sorry, back to what you're saying, Sean. Like
She probably makes no money off rapping. Let's be real, because
this is what I'm trying to say.
rappers make money from touring and from
Merch.
merchandise, right? It's not streams, and her streaming numbers aren't even high anyway.
But I'm saying
yeah,
the reason why
Yeah.
to kind of answer half of the question early in front up, like from the jump, is what happened to No Name? She started a book club that was a decent business. And it's like, fuck this, I'm gonna do that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
think,
people.
yeah.
Gone.
Sorry, Sam. Go ahead. No, go on.
I was going to say a lot of people try to monetize their career in different ways, merch, this, that, and diversify. But I don't know any rappers with a book club like this or rappers with this type of interest that feels genuine. So it feels all right. But sorry, you were saying, Sean, before about
No. I mean, just to wrap it up, I think, again, going back to what you've definitely said, and I think we've all said, is that she's an intelligent woman. And I think she probably sussed the industry and the way it works from early. And she knows about the exploitation that goes on. And if you combine that with her political views and the way, just her outlook on life in general, it makes sense why she's never, she's probably not even pursued a deal. Do you know what I mean? She's probably not even entertained any deals that came her way, at least from semi-big labels and that. But there was still music coming out, like 2019. Kieran, you might want to talk a bit about it because, you mentioned, was it Song 32? And how
Yeah,
much
no,
you
she was
liked
active though, didn't she? Because she put out Song 31, 32.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Then 33 came as well.
Well, 33 was a bit after, isn't it? 33 was I think the year after. But there was Song 31 and 32, and 32 is the one. 32 is
Yeah, 32 is.
like you
I was
said,
surprised. Why did she really? It's like I feel like she. So this is one thing I was reading about, like her announcements about new albums and stuff. Because obviously I haven't lived through it, but apparently, like every time she released the single or like was about to drop one, she would be saying like, "Oh, the album's coming soon. This is like the single," or something like that. But then like she'd always
was on
backtrack and
Twitter.
say, "No, actually, I'm not going to do this album anymore." And like it was seeming a bit like here, then, everywhere. Like she was feeling bad for her fans because no one understood what was going on. It sounds kind of like what Lupe
She was
Fiasco
getting
and
rich. She was
Kanye
getting
do
mad.
as well.
Yeah.
Is
She was
it like
getting
a
mad for
Chicago
sure.
thing?
something's in the air in Chicago. They just can't get music out.
But she,
Because
do you know
she
who
announced it, didn't she?
Mm.
And then she was getting mad
yeah.
frustrated on Twitter. Sorry,
That's all right. No. The artist that she reminds me of is D'Angelo, and like what he went through after Voodoo. I mean, it's different, but it's also a bit. There's parallels to me as well. What I mean is like she, like you said, she had the single. She was talking about this album called Factory Baby, but she spoke about how she talks about quitting music. And I put the quote in here as well, and it says, "I refuse to keep making music and putting it online for free for people who don't support me. If you don't want to leave the crib, I feel it. I don't want to dance on stage for white people." So, again, I think her intelligence and her knowledge of the industry and how artists get exploited and this and that, I think she just was a bit disillusioned, I guess. Maybe that's the wrong word. And, D'Angelo's thing was very different. I think his thing was he felt like people just wanted him to take his top off and they weren't really deep in the artistry of his music. And that's why he just dipped out for as long as he did. But yeah, I don't know where I'm going with it now, but I guess I understand where she was coming from, if that makes sense.
And I think the fact that she's got financial passive income, like she could take 10 years break and it wouldn't be a problem for her.
Yeah, exactly. And it even got to the stage where she went on this, she confirmed she was on a hiatus. She was pretty much retired from music. But let's go back, because you mentioned Song 33 as well. Let's talk about the whole thing with J. Cole as well. So from what I remember, J. Cole dropped something first, right? It was the J. Cole song that came first.
There was, I think it was tweets
As in
and stuff
public.
was going on first, though. I feel like she was
I think
talking.
it links to them going out to the protests as well, though, right? Because did J. Cole go to a protest? I think he did. I'm quite sure he did.
I want to.
Yeah, I want to say
he did. Yeah,
not back in the day. Sorry, he did around. You remember
2015 times.
2015. Yeah, before or in the
when
build up
Kendrick
to.
was doing all of that.
No, I think,
For Your
I
Eyes
think,
Only.
I think Cole has always been active in that side of things, activism and that. I think he's been going out to things consistently, but he just doesn't make a big deal out of it.
But I think No Name's problem is that he's not speaking on it, like engaging with community. He's just
He's just
attending like a nobody.
Yeah.
Do you know, like Cole's got so much power. He's got like this massive platform, like millions of fans. And instead of engaging with them directly and like educating them, maybe like she thinks he should, he's like being like a nobody in the protests, I guess.
But the thing, this is the thing. I might have remembered all this wrong. I might be getting all this muddled up, but this is how I remember it. So to go further back, right? J. Cole seemed to change around 2014 times. Yeah, do you remember that song "Be Free"? And then we got Forest Hills Drive, and there was just he was dressing differently. He was talking about different things. That then sort of led on into For Your Eyes Only as well. We saw the documentary. He was out on the streets. He was talking to communities. This and that, right? So in my opinion, I'm not saying J. Cole was like Dead Prez or Immortal Technique or anyone like that. Do you know what I mean? But he was, to me, I would say he was conscious to some.
I definitely think he's a conscious rapper.
Oh, he was
and I would say the same about
100%.
Kendrick after To Pimp a Butterfly as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that either of them were shying away from speaking on these topics. I'm sure Noname said something along the lines of, like, she said something like, these rappers will put so and so in their songs, but they can't even send out a tweet. And that, I didn't really get that. Like, I would think that the music was more powerful than a tweet, but I guess maybe I'm a bit out of touch. But I feel like she said that. I feel like she tweeted that.
You know, the thing is, she does come from a different, like, she is a lot younger than them. And she's in this generation where like people need to comment daily. If like public things happening, you should black out your display picture or something like that. So like even if they didn't do that, like she'd have a problem with them for not doing that. But
do we agree
from
with
their
that,
side, is
No, see, I don't, but I see exactly where Kieran's coming from, because she is that generation where they just feel like that you need to come out and you need to say something straight away, but sometimes they can't open their minds to seeing the other, like how someone else might think that they're doing things differently. It was like the whole hate that Kendrick got for, oh, you're not saying anything, but Kendrick was doing stuff underground, just people just didn't know about it, just because he's got this massive platform. I know they want him to comment on it, but he feels he didn't. He wanted to put work in where he felt best was going to make a difference. But some generations, which I feel I'm with Noname, couldn't understand that, because I relate that with J. Cole. That's why I think J. Cole took an offense to that, and obviously Snow and the Bluff then came, didn't it? So
I guess maybe the content in her music's more explicit as well. I mean, I'm not saying that Cole or Kendrick are puppets or anything like that, but they are part of major labels, and they do they're aware of that, and they don't go as far as they're more metaphorical.
But Kendrick made Black at the Berry, though. I feel like Black at the Berry.
Kendrick's been doing this that's why it frustrated me about the whole Kendrick thing, because Kendrick has been talking about this for time. That's why when everyone say, "Oh, Kendrick, you're not saying anything," the guy made To Pimp a Butterfly, he made Black of the Berry, and he made All Right, where he was talking about all this, and yet now you want to come and slate him because he's not coming out. The guy is, he can do it.
Also, just because you have a massive platform doesn't mean you have to do anything. Do you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
That's the point. I really don't understand with people like what Noname did, where she came from. I was like, why does he have to? Like, there's no kind of push or lean for him to have to do anything.
But in fairness to Noname, right? This is the other thing where, just to bring it back, is was it ever actually aimed at Kendrick or Cole? Did people just assume?
No, it was a general comment. But you assume because they're the top two conscious kind of rappers.
Yeah. So my I wouldn't call it a problem. My misunderstanding of her tweet was more in a general sense. Like, my thing is more like, what's more powerful, putting it in your music or sending out a tweet? I guess from the
tweet,
from our generation, we might say the music, but from hers, perhaps she thinks social media is a more important platform, whatever. But so going back to that though, like I said, she didn't actually say either of their names. People, I guess, just jump to an assumption. So how do we feel about Cole's song? Because even though he doesn't say her name, it's about her, right?
I think it's one of J. Cole's best songs, you know. I'm not gonna lie.
He likes J. Cole in his toxic bag.
Yeah. I think
Sam, you had
sonically
a
it's
lot
interesting.
But Sam, you said some stuff about it at the time when it came out. You weren't really feeling it, were you? Like you didn't like that J. Cole did that.
I just thought J. Cole's never really been the type of person to come at people with such energy, and I was a bit like, why are you coming after Noname with so much energy? Like, she's not. No offense to her, and we're here doing a whole episode on her, but she's not that relevant for you to feel so pressed by it. You only feel so pressed by it because you feel like you should have done something, and then, kind of in the follow-up to all of that bullshit with the song or whatever, he then was like, follow Noname, she knows the way type vibes. I was like, my guy, you could have just said that. You could have said that and not gone in the booth and recorded the whole song. Like, it just felt, it was all too much. It's a bit like what Kanye's doing
just,
right now with
defend
Pete.
J. Cole a little.
Much. No,
it's similar, isn't it? Basically, I followed J. Cole since I found him in like 2011, innit? And his relationship with Twitter is weird. Like this guy will go, he'll delete his account from time to time. When he comes back, he's like, I've forgotten how to use Twitter. How do I do this? And all of this kind of stuff. And I know he's got this weird relationship where he'll see tweets and not really know how to engage with people in their way they communicate. He is an older head.
He just says things he just says some random shit. I feel like he literally says what he says in person on Twitter. I remember when he was active way back when Twitter was just starting out, 2011, 2012 time.
He's like Kanye on Twitter.
Yeah, he used to say some wild shit to people. But no, it just felt a bit too much, the whole song part of things. He could have just tweeted the first tweet he did of acknowledging the whole situation. He could have done that. Problem would have been
done. It pushed her to grab a Madlib beat though, which is kind of interesting.
Man. That's the thing I feel like goes under the radar is that response was on a Madlib beat. Who gets a
even the artwork says Madlib as well? Because
I would be proud of that. A song with Madlib. That would be my cover art, like Madlib producers. But she, I think, and Twitter social media had a problem with. I think he used the word. He referred to her tone, and people didn't like that.
Oh no, because especially when people call black women argumentative or
or have an attitude,
loudmouths,
yeah. So I don't think it was I know what you mean. The songs, just sonically, the song's cool. But perhaps in the climate, in the day and age we live in, maybe wasn't the best choice by Cole. But she didn't like her response either. She took it down for a bit.
Yeah, but she didn't like her response because she thought it was just distracting the issue. But she did put it back up now.
It's on there. Yeah.
It's deep.
It's teased though.
It made me feel sad though, man. She said some really deep stuff on that.
Trust me, because she actually kind of backs up. She almost she talks about how rappers, would put something in a song but then not tweet it. And then she does a song and says way more than most rappers in just a space of a minute and a half. Do you know what I mean?
She also didn't deny she wasn't talking about Cole as well. So
that's one thing though. If you're going to indirect somebody and someone goes, "Is it that person?" and they're right, you have to tell them, yeah. You can't lie. You can't be like, if you feel like it's for you, then it's for you. Back your words.
This was defo about him. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, after this, we kind of, all we hear from her is that she's kind of done with music. And I remember being gutted, man. I was like, oh shit, I feel like she could go places. Not in a way like I'm a fan and I'm entitled to this. I just mean, listening to the two projects that she put out, you think she could go down as one of the greats,
Well, I don't remember who said it, but somebody definitely said recently about that as fans, we're not entitled to the music. It's nice to have, but it's no artist owes us anything. So when they drop music, we should be grateful, whatever it is, whether we like it or not. That's not the conversation we need to have. It's about, you can't go, for prime example, Frank Ocean needs to drop something. And I remember one of you lot saying no, he doesn't. He doesn't owe us nothing.
Yeah. When we say, oh, I need the new Kendrick, I need this. We don't actually mean we genuinely need it, but
he can take his time.
With Noname, letting go of the more culture we have, all this consumerism. She's actually released quite a lot of music already. I think she's released more music than Lauryn Hill ever did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
True.
She's also released a lot of high quality
That
music.
is very true.
There's no dip in the quality.
It's not. I don't even think it's lesser than Lauryn Hill's music. In all honesty, I've been on a vibe this week. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, No Name is mad. Different levels.
It's good music for the soul. I think it's just like it feels good to listen to. But you know, the next or the last part of this was what's next, and the run through changed in the week because Kieran, you shared that tweet with us. She said she's making music.
I went on her Twitter because I know she's active, and I was just thinking, like, what is she actually doing these days? And I think her pinned tweet, which was like just a week ago or so, it says 2022, the year for giving music and receiving it, and I'm just like something like that. I didn't quote it exactly, but
so you know, with that in mind, it's positive.
At least features she's interested in, I guess.
Is that what we expect then? We don't expect a project.
Do you know, the thing is as well, I think it was last year or the year before, she like formed an official trio with Saba and Smino as well. It's got a name, but I don't know what the name is.
That would be,
but it could be that.
Oh yeah, there is a name. Oh yeah, there is, because I can't remember.
Like, it's a cool name as well. But if they drop that album, I think that would be an appropriate time right now, because I'm interested to hear more from Smino as well.
Rap groups aren't really a thing
features
anymore either, so it's like that would be a really interesting.
They're like Fugees, isn't it? I just clocked. They're a bit like Fugees.
Yeah. That would be an interesting collab, especially with Smino's latest album. Was it Smino? Saba? One of the two.
Saba's, Saba was sounding good on that.
That's what I'm saying. So it could be interesting to hear all three of them doing something together.
I feel like Saba's finally like making music that aligns like perfectly with how No Name makes music as well. So
maybe,
they're called Ghetto Sage. Is what they're called.
Ghetto Sage.
Ghetto Sage. Yeah.
I think the last question.
Oh yeah, because I forgot. Yeah, because I forgot about their song called Hagen Dazs. Yeah, that's a good song as well.
Right, Ghetto Sage have a song.
Ghetto Sage in 2019.
The one thing I wanted to say before we get to the last bit was, based on that track she released last year, Rainforest. I'd really like to hear a new project, because that Rainforest song,
I think that's also arguably one of her best songs. Like, if not,
it might be her best.
She hits levels, the flow, the beat, the topics. It's kind of commercial as well in a weird way. Yeah,
it's not my favorite, but it might be her best. I think. Sand, what was you going to say?
I was going to say the final question of where do we rank her among her contemporaries? I don't know. I don't think she can be compared, because she's doing something completely different to all the people I see in this list.
Yeah, I mean,
closest thing is Isaiah Rashad. And
should we go through? Should we? Like, I don't know if I've missed out anyone, but the names I
go
put
through the
here
names.
so I put obvious one: Chance the Rapper, Mick Jenkins, Saba, Joey Badass, Vince Staples, Isaiah Rashad. Put Jid in there. Put Smino and Goldlink. That sort of era of rappers. I mean, I know what you mean. I think she's not comparable in the sense that she is very much her own artist. She's got her, she's formed her own sound, especially with Room 25. But if we are gonna like just because we're rap fans and we like to compare and rank, I would put her, other than maybe Vince.
She's next to Vince, she's next to Vince. Vince is like,
100%.
She's not above Vince though, surely, because like
no, she's not. She's not above
Vince has got too much output.
That's why I was saying she's near the top. I would have her.
What about Chance though? Chance is an interesting one, because those three.
Himself, bro. He's down.
Wait. He hasn't deleted his albums though. Like, those three albums are incredible. The run up to that dud he just released.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is No Name is up there, definitely. I wouldn't know where to quote unquote rank her, but she's in the top leagues. Like, if she dropped more music, it'd probably be one of those ones where we're talking about her being the best of a generation. But it's kind of like a Tierra Whack situation. She's just not dropping enough music.
When I listed those names, the way I was thinking about it was, other than Vince, and arguably he doesn't, but other than Vince, do any of those other names have two projects better than the ones she's dropped?
No.
Well, this is what I'm thinking. This is why I had her so high. That I can't. No, this is exactly why I had her so high. She's at least number two. She's at least number two. That's all I'm saying. At least.
That's no disrespect either, because pretty much everyone on there I would consider to be a good to great artist. They've all dropped important records and stuff like that. But I just think, like I say, other than Vince, because Vince you can't deny just because of the output. He's put out too much. He's contributed too much. But No Name, within the little that she's done,
this is the thing with No Name as well. She's got that unique appeal, like a few of these rappers you can compare, like,
oh yeah, they're a little bit similar here and there. Noname brings something so fresh, really.
Well, look, we're saying what happened to Noname. It looks like she's coming back soon. Hopefully, we do hear more from her, and I think she could go on to even bigger and better things. So
she doesn't have to rush, though. Really and truly.
No, she can take a while, man. She can do a D'Angelo if she wants, and just. I don't want her to. I don't want to wait 15 years, but she could.
She can.
Yeah.
Hey, it's your boy Theo, and thanks for listening to the Grey Area Podcast. Now, go over and check the Discord. We got loads of different playlists for you guys to check out. And most importantly of all, we want to hear from our community. So go over and check it out. You might get a free seasoning pack. Peace.